Hello, you're listening to the RNOH Annual Awards ceremony, and I'm Macie and I'm joined by the brilliant Matt Forde. So how are you today and how are you finding this evening?
I'm very good and I'm very honoured to be here. I'm very excited. I would never have believed when I was in that hospital bed on the London Irish ward that a few months later I'd be here hosting an awards do for the hospital. I'm just so proud.
Honestly, it is amazing that you are here tonight. And you're also an ambassador of the RNOH charity. So why did you decide to take on this role?
Well, I wanted to help. I was in that hospital for 10 weeks and I still have physio at the hospital. There's still other procedures that I need to have up there. So I think when you've been through something that big, and the care that I had at the hospital was out of this world. And part of what made my stay there so special was, one, firstly, the quality of the surgery that I had. And I now realise that it's hugely impacted by the technology that the charity helps provide. The other thing was just how comfortable my surroundings were. And I couldn't believe I could have care that good on the NHS and in a place so special. So while I was in hospital and I was recovering, I, like a lot of patients do, I imagine, want to do something about it and want to say thank you to the hospital in an appropriate way. And I was delighted that they asked me to be an ambassador. I was very emotional about accepting that role. And I just, I have a platform and I really want to use it to promote the work of the hospital, the wonderful work that the charity does, and to ensure that other patients get the phenomenal care that I had.
That is the most wholesome answer. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it was true.
Brilliant. So would you like to talk about your journey with the RNOH and what you went through?
Yeah, so I was diagnosed with cancer in August 2023. I was up in Scotland at the time, but I live in London, so I was referred to a phenomenal surgeon called Hani Anwar at the Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital. And it was in those corridors, I'd never been to that hospital before, where you're first told that really you're going to need life-changing surgery, that you really worry about your future, you really are quite petrified about what the future holds, and you put yourself in the hands of these exceptional people, not just the surgeons, the nurses, the cleaners, the people from Radio Broccoli, just all the people that come and cheer you up and make you feel better about your life. So then I had surgery, I had the base of my spine removed. That's where the cancer was. That means that I now have a stoma and I have to catheterize and all sorts of other things. I was then on the London Irish ward for 10 weeks, recovering from serious surgery. And in that time, the physios helped me, all sorts of different teams. The nurses on the ward that I'm still friends with, that we go out for dinner with. These people have become some of the most important people in my life. And I still go back now for physio, for urology appointments, for other things. So it's central to my life. The hospital is a big part of who I am now. So my journey hasn't finished. I don't think it ever will. I will always have that connection to it.
Yeah. And do you want to say anything to the RNOH staff today?
Oh my God. I mean, thank you. I don't have the vocabulary to adequately thank them. There aren't words really that can do justice to the depth of the gratitude that you feel when you really worry about what your future is going to be like. You worry about whether you're going to be in a lot of pain. You worry about whether you're going to be able to walk. You can't really imagine until you start to heal and then you become more reassured. Everyone who played a part, and not just the surgical and the medical staff, the cleaners, the catering team, Gladys from the catering team that would come into my room in the morning.
She was shout out.
Oh, she was great. And she really helped me. And at times you're very upset. And there were so many special nurses that helped me. Nalfe de la Cruz and Jess Murphy, Briege, Sarah, Marika, as well as the surgical team who were all incredible. I cannot, everyone who played even a minute, even a second, the people who looked after me in intensive care, that I don't remember that much because I was off my nut on morphine. People are helping you when you're at your most vulnerable. And really, no words will ever exist that will adequately convey just how deeply grateful I am.
And you're also going to see many of them tonight.
Oh no, man, I've got to try not to cry because it's meant to be like a joyous celebration of their amazing work.
Cry happy tears.
I need to get used to, yes, happy tears are good. Happy tears are good, like when England win or something like that.
Exactly, or your favourite football team.
Yes, when Nottingham Forest get into the Champions League in a few weeks' time. Happy tears.
Are you going to be singing football chants then?
Oh no, I'm going to behave. I'm not going to ruin this event with yobbery. This will be a civilized event.
I was going to say, do you want to sing some football chants for us tonight?
I think a lot of them aren't appropriate for, well, I only sing positive football chants, obviously, but yes, I won't be mucking about with flares or anything like that.
No, that's a bit too far.
It is.
Too far. But for everyone listening, you are a comedian and presenter, and your shows have raised money for bone cancer research. So can you tell us about these shows?
Yes, so I'm on tour at the moment as a stand-up, and I'm also I'm an ambassador for the RNOH charity, and I do collections at my London shows for RNOH. So I have a podcast that I record in the West End with politicians called The Political Party, and we collect for RNOH after those. And when I'm on tour in London, we collect. And then outside of London, I also collect for the Bone Cancer Research Trust, who invest money in trying to find a cure for bone cancer. It's obviously what I had, and I'm keen that other people don't have to go through what I went, even though my care was excellent. I'd rather there was a cure so that people are spared that. So yes, I raised money for two charities, the RNOH and the BCRT.
You are amazing for doing that. Not many people will do that. That is amazing. What is the best part about performing?
Oh God, getting a laugh is the feeling of standing on stage, telling a joke, and getting a laugh is an exceptional feeling. It's an addiction that will never wear off. So, and whatever else is going on, however far you've had to travel, yeah, I mean, it's the best job in the world, isn't it?
It really is, and you're going to get a lot of laughs tonight. I can tell you.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. We're a tough crowd. If we're not laughing at like a former patient, these people don't deserve awards.
They all laugh. So, what do you do to prepare for your shows?
So, I basically write all year round. So I'm constantly looking at the news and writing jokes and looking at things that Donald Trump and Keir Starmer are doing, and then I will try those out at newer material nights and polish those into routines, and then in the run up to the start of a tour, I will do maybe 30 kind of work in progress shows where I've got a notebook on stage and I'm trying to make these routines work and I'm trying to fashion it into a show, and then once the show's basically finished, I'm then updating bits of it as the news changes. So with everything that happens with Donald Trump, obviously, that is a rapidly changing thing. But always working on the impression and trying to get it right. And I want to say that I think it's pathetic what you're doing tonight. Radio Broccoli are part of the fake news media. You're total losers. I would never listen to it. I don't want to go to hospital ever. If I did, I would not want to go to the RNOH. They're bad dudes. And trying to look at all the...
I really felt like Donald Trump was just sat next to me.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Scare you.
I was going to say, did you just change them now?
Oh no, you'd have to get all it's the hands, it's the face, it's the little...
The lips as well.
The little things that he does, yeah. I want to pay tribute to the charity. They do great work. Another day of many people are sad and they're upset. They go to hospital, they don't know what's happening to them. The RNOH does great work. So it's getting all the little, the facial movements and all the tics and putting all that together.
Honestly, that impression just made me giggle so much. I was trying to not laugh so loudly on the microphone. Well, your show is called The End of an Era, which is a parody poster of the Taylor Swift era tour. Are you a Swiftie?
You know what? I can't claim to be a Swiftie. I prefer Dua Lipa. I don't know if there is a rivalry like there was between Blur and Oasis.
There's no rivalry between them.
Well, maybe there should be. We need to start a beef between the two of them.
We'll start the rivalry.
Exactly, yeah. But I like some of her songs. Yeah, Shake It Off's a tune, isn't it?
Don't want to sing us?
I can't sing, man. There's a limit to what I can be expected to do.
Donald Trump impressions exactly. Singing today.
Shake It Off. I think it's a very good advice from Taylor Swift when you've got dogs do that with what do they shake it off? I think that's what it is, man. Song about a wet dog. So no, I can't sing, I'm afraid. But I like some of her songs, but obviously the poster's iconic.
It is iconic. It really is.
What's good, what you need as a comedian for a tour title is a title that doesn't tie you down too much, like it being about one thing. The End of an Era, basically about anything. And obviously I deal with what happened to me in it. So it was the end of an era for the base of my spine. And it was also the end of an era for the Tory party and for Democrats. So it's like a title that doesn't really mean anything, and therefore can mean anything.
I think it's a great title, I'll be honest. As a fellow Swiftie.
Oh God, yeah, I should have been. No, I am also a Swiftie. I think she's fantastic. I want to pay tribute to the wonderful work that she does, not just on stage but off. I actually didn't come up with it.
Oh, who did?
Someone at Avalon, who are my fantastic agents, came up with it. So I do a new show every year. I mean, I've been going for a while. It's quite hard to constantly come up with titles. So Claire and Max, who work for Avalon, came up with it. I always feel bad taking the credit for their
You have it right
work.
now, so it's okay.
No. Oh, I sort of did it at the start and then I fessed up.
Do you have a favourite tour name that you've had?
Oh, I think this is my favourite. And the fact that I got to dress up like Taylor Swift and get a jacket made with all those like diamonds on and stuff. So that was cool. So that's my favourite.
You are Taylor Swift now.
I guess so.
You were Donald Trump earlier and now you're Taylor Swift.
Donald Trump, Taylor Swift, who next?
The controversy between that.
There's
so much going on right now.
Too much. But tonight, obviously, I will primarily be myself.
Okay. That's
okay. I hope so, yeah.
You're not Taylor now.
No, people aren't expecting Taylor Swift.
It'd be quite odd if they advertised Taylor Swift.
Imagine.
And then you rocked up being like, I'm in my ears.
I think people would be gutted.
But no, they're still happy with you, don't you worry.
Excellent.
So what has surprised you most in your career?
Oh, crikey. I think when you sort of realise that you can make a living being a comedian, that's because you start it basically as a hobby. You start to get somewhere. You start to dream a little bit. You think, well, maybe I could end up doing this. And then obviously things don't really happen overnight. It's like an incremental thing. It's like studying for something, you know, it's week in, week out. And then, so I think it's just the sort of realization. You think, oh my God, this is going to be my living. And then there are certain nights. So I did the Royal Variety last year. So there are moments that you also get in a career like this that are very special. So that was something. But I think it's just the general thing that you just like, man, I just feel very lucky to be a comedian. It's a great job to have. And it's a great challenge to always be trying to make things funny. So I think it's that.
Perfect.
I hope so. I feel like I'm being serious about comedy, which is not.
Just a bit jealous you can actually do comedy for a living. I can't do that.
Well, you could.
Not funny enough. But it's not about me.
It hasn't stopped me. It hasn't. I am proof that is no hindrance to making a living as a comedian.
Well, to end off this amazing interview, what advice would you give to people who are in hospital, who are aspiring to be in a doctor career, who want to be a comedian? Go through all the different lists.
I think if you're in hospital, don't worry. Particularly there are a number of things I would say. One, you are in very good hands. Two, do advocate for yourself. I think it's very easy to lie in a hospital bed and presume that everyone who comes in knows every detail. And actually, staff are under a lot of pressure. There's a lot going on in that ward. They've just come out of someone else's room. God knows what they've seen in there. Don't be afraid to say, actually, I haven't had my pills today, or whatever it is. And you're not being rude. You're not being problematic. You are helping the staff that come in by telling them about yourself. That's a good thing. But ultimately, this phase of your life will pass, is that you will heal and you will get used to whatever the changes in your body are. And I really thought at first that having a stoma and having to catheterize and having to deal with the things that I was dealt with meant that my future was going to be very vulnerable and quite sad. And I was really worried that once I got out of hospital, I wasn't going to have a very good life. It's just not the case at all. Is that your body and your brain work together to just incrementally, as time goes on, this is just what it feels like. And at first, certainly after surgery, you can feel like your body feels very different. It doesn't do the things that you used to be able to do before. One, that starts to feel normal. And two, you basically get over that. And after all this, you're far more resilient than you were beforehand. Whatever you think is a bad time is completely reframed by whatever you're going through now. And it doesn't sound daft. As far as you can, enjoy it. You've got lots of people from all over the world who are helping you heal and get better. And there's a process of recovery that's actually quite enjoyable. You just have to surrender yourself into it. The food at the hospital I thought was great. Have as much of that stuff on the menu. I would personally recommend the macaroni cheese, the apple crumble with custard. The meatballs are great. The chicken breast with the roast potatoes is excellent. The chicken hot pot is excellent. Get stuck into the food.
It's basically the entire menu.
Yeah, I mean, the only way they could improve it is by serving alcohol. I don't think that would be wise. So just get stuck into the menu, enjoy meeting new people, and it'll pass. You'll be fine.
You have such a positive outtake on everything, which I think is the best mindset to have. So thank you so much for chatting with us today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your evening.
Thank you, and thank you to Radio Broccoli for the things you do for patients. It's very important.
Thank you.